How many times has this happened to you? You're walking away from your college bookstore with your jaw just about dragging along the ground in shock over how much you just spent on a couple college textbooks. Unfortunately, I'm on the half-century bachelor's degree program, so I'm well aware of how long college books have been expensive. Some might even say the price structure is bordering on price gouging. Course materials have been expensive for a long time, but nothing compared to how it is now. So let's look into the reasons books are so expensive, and then I will offer some suggestions on how we might correct this textbook injustice. According to a report by the Government Accountability Office, the GAO, from 2002 to 2012, textbook costs increased an average of 6% per year, while compared to the overall consumer price increases of only 2%. So that's 3 times more. In other words, in that 10-year period, book prices increased by an astonishing 82%. I wonder if the 5 textbook companies in control of more than 80% of the $8.8 billion textbook business have anything to do with these soaring costs. Of course they do, and here's how. We all know the basics of supply and demand, how a fair market should work. Big supply, small demand, prices go down. The opposite is true also. Small supply, big demand, prices go up. Therefore, it's in the publisher's interest to drive up demand. And here are a couple techniques they use to keep the demand artificially high. First of all, have you ever wondered why college textbooks have so many editions? Why is your college calculus book on its 11th edition? I doubt there's been 11 fundamental changes in undergraduate mathematics since this book has been in print. Not enough for 11 editions anyway. In its report from this year, from January of 2014, the U.S. Public Interest Research Group, or USPIRG, reports that this is a major marketing tool publishers use. They release new editions, and they do this on the average of every 3 years. This creates an artificial demand to force new book purchases. Just remember, only a few sentences need to be changed to make an old book old and a new book new. And keep in mind, there's no oversight as to what a new edition should be. Also, the new editions render the previous textbooks obsolete, thereby limiting the used market for them. Another tool employed by publishers is this practice of bundling. That's a term we hear a lot of nowadays, bundling. They bundle extra materials, CDs, study guides. They shrink wrap them onto the book. You've seen them on the bookshelf. And this has the effect of driving up the cost. And oftentimes these extra materials aren't even used or required by the college professors. I myself have several of CDs sitting around my house unused that I never used in previous classes. Also, some of these materials must be registered online with a passcode, which eventually expires, rendering the books again obsolete, thereby reducing the chances or eliminating the chances of a student selling the book back to recoup costs. There's no worse feeling than feeling taken advantage of. We need to repair these unfair practices. We possess numbers. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, between 2000 and 2010, there were over 21 million students enrolled in college-level education programs of various lengths in this country. That equates to 2 million students a year, 2 million chances to make a change in this unfair practice. Here are some simple ways that we can affect change. 1, lobby college administrators to stop requiring the latest edition to be used in classes. Allow older editions to be used. Any significant change in the text can simply be noted by the instructor. 2, make physical copies of these texts optional. We live in a modern age now. Why not take advantage of the internet and use ebooks? Third, colleges can make use of source material, free source material, or open source material as it's called. I'm sure the new book prices would magically decrease in the event of the loss of millions of sales. And fourth, and probably most importantly, petition Congress. You may think nothing ever gets done in Washington, but every once in a while they do surprise us. Look at the legislation aimed at the tobacco business of a decade ago or so, and more recently, changes made to the banking credit card industry. We can use our enormous collective voice to be heard. We can affect change by refusing to be pawns in this multi-billion-dollar status quo marketing game. If they won't listen, if the publishers won't listen to arguments of ethics and fairness, let's strike at the one thing big business cares about the most, their bottom line. We can force them to stare at their bottom line as we surely start to erase it by making our millions of voices heard. Let's prove this expensive education of ours is having the desired effect of producing original thinkers that act proactively to advocate for fair change to the monopoly that is the college textbook business. Thank you very much.